Hi, welcome to my tiny lab, where I try to keep plants happy and microbes unemployed. This channel is a short episode journal about aeroid tissue culture, cloning, troubleshooting, and turning jars into real plants. Today we are talking aseptic technique, the invisible fortress that makes the whole thing work. We live in England, and in most homes there is one constant background issue: mold. And for spores, a nutrient jar is basically an all you can eat buffet. So tissue culture isn't only about plants, it's also about building a tiny invisible fortress. Today, I'll show you my real aseptic routine in a small labs. Simple steps, no dry lectures. Sterility isn't one magic steps. It's a routine with no gaps. If there are even a tiny holes, dust gets in and dust brings spores with it. That's why I start with the basics: a clean zone, fewer objects, and a clear order of actions. Most problems don't start with the media, they start with the extra movement and chaos. First, surface. I use 70% alcohol because that concentration is commonly recommended for disinfections. It works really well in practice. And it's not a spray and instantly start. I wipe properly and give it time to do its jobs. Think of it like washing and chopping board before cooking. Otherwise, everything else is pointless. Next, ultraviolet. Important. This is not the UV used for tanning or checking banknotes. This is lamps is made for sterilizations and it's very powerful. You should never look at it. I run it for around 30 minutes and step away to protect my eyes. UV isn't an replacement for cleaning. It's an extra layer of insurance. Now, the heart of the system, the HEPA filter. And I mean a real HEPA. I also tested it in different way to be confident it's doing its jobs. It has two roles. First, it should let nothing unwanted pass through. Second, it creates a laminar airflow, a smooth, predictable steams that moves across the work zones and pushes everything out. What matters is that the airflows works away from the culture, not toward it. My main rule is this: the safest zone is closer to the filter and farther from me. Humans are one of the biggest contamination sources. Tiny particles, dust, accidental touches. And if you have cats or dogs at home, that's another layer of flying surprise. So, anything critical, always stay closer to the filter than to my body. Another tricks I use is protective glass. I created this design that allows for full access to the labs. Alternatively, I can lower the glass, minimizing the risk of infection from people to the plants. In the labs, only hands are used and nothing gets into the clean area. Gloves are essential, but they are not just a tick box. Gloves can still carry contaminations if you touch the wrong thing. So, I disinfect them with the same 70% alcohol and keep touches to a minimum. The fewer hand journey, the better. When working in aseptic conditions becomes a habit, it's no longer seems scary. Tools are an extension of your hands. I sterilize mine with a hot steam and keep them sealed in a sterile pouches. But sterility isn't a permanent status. It lasts only until the first long move. So, open, use, and the tool doesn't wander around the bench. It's sterile only when you behave sterile. When working with tools, I use sterilizer for the nail industry. It heats up to 250 degrees Celsius and quickly kills any contaminations on the surface of the tools. However, it's important to understand that the handle isn't sterilized, so you need to be careful. Another technique is to use sterilized materials and surface. Working with the blends require a sterile surface, and ceramic tiles may not be clean enough. So, I use a steamer to sterilize petri dishes and sheets of paper before performing the necessary manipulation on them. They are stored sealed and proceed before each cycle of work in my mini lab. A jar can be sealed and still collect dust on the outside. And in England, dust often comes with mold spores. So before any action, I wipe the jar, especially the lid and the neck. It's a simple step, but it removes a huge chunk of random problems. A sealed jar isn't automatically sterile on the outside. A rule of thumb: the jar stays open only as long as necessary, not a second more. I don't talk over an open jar, and I don't pause. So, shorter the windows, the lower chance that something lands where it shouldn't. And open jars is an open opportunity window for spores. And the final lock: sealing. I wrap the jars with paraffin to close tiny gaps and reduce the chance of everything getting in. For me, it's a sign the job is done. The jar is ready to live quietly. It's like stamping the seal. Inside is my small world. Do not disturb. That was aseptic works looks like in my micro lab. It's not about being afraid of microbes. It's about respecting the process. If you want a follow-up, tell me in the comments. Should I film, for example, my top 5 aseptic mistakes or my press subculture checklist? And next, I will show you this batch's journey from jar to a real plant. The best channel growth starts when viewers understand the logic and begin asking the questions. So, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It will be interesting.